Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. Today's show is sponsored by Panda Subs. If anybody wants to get my summer shred pack, which, you know what? I'm not afraid to tell y'all, guys, I've been able to lose like 10, 15 pounds this month, and all I've been able to do is eat a little bit healthier, but also I use my shred pack from Panda Subs. So if you want to see the protein, the BCAAs, everything that I use to get in the best shape possible, go to chatsports.com/mystack, and if you use code MYSTACK, you're going to save an additional 35% off. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. So coming up, I got 5 Las Vegas Raiders players who will be Pro Bowlers for the first time this upcoming season. On top of that, I have them ranked from 5 down to 1. So the player that is ranked 5, I think, has a less likely chance of being a Pro Bowler than the person that's ranked at number 1. If you want to know some current Raiders that also are past Pro Bowlers, I do have to say that Cody Whitehair is on this list as well. He was a Pro Bowler back in 2018. Minshew was a Pro Bowler last season. Crosby from 2021 to 2023, Davante Adams, A.J. Cole, and Andrus Peat are the Raiders' past Pro Bowlers on this team. So now that you know that, give me a name, and I want one name. Who will be a first-time Pro Bowler for the Raiders this upcoming season? And you know what? I know I said one name. Nah, F that. Give me multiple names. If you think multiple Raiders players are going to be a first-time Pro Bowler, please let me know. Plant your flag right now. Here we go. Number 5 coming up here on the show. It's Kolton Miller at offensive tackle. And Miller, to me, is one of the best tackles in the NFL, and not many people are really going to disagree with that. The only reason why he's number 5 and he's not ranked higher is simply because if his shoulder injury is a little bit more than what is expected right now, that's going to cause some concerns. Like, I'm not afraid to look at all you guys right now, and if I get a report that says Kolton Miller, 100% healthy, he's ready to go, I'm going to put him in the top 2 of this video. But based off the information that I know right now, where I am at, I'm putting him at number 5. He's entering his 7th year in the NFL. He's played in 92 games, started in 90. The only 2 games that he didn't start in were last season when he wasn't 100% healthy. But over the past 4 seasons, look at how he was trending. 2020, he got a 73 overall grade according to PFF, then an 84, then an 84.1, and then the numbers dropped down just a little bit. To me, I think that those numbers dropped down a little bit simply because of the injury concerns and him not being healthy. Yes, I want to see how he looks without Carmen Brasillo and a brand new offensive line coach in James Craig and a totally different offense. But considering the quarterback play that the Raiders had in these seasons from a Derek Carr, from a Aiden O'Connell, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brian Hoyer, I am projecting Kolton Miller to have himself one hell of a season. If you want to get a part of our June sub battle, then hit that subscribe button right now. If you're already subscribed, then send this link that you see down below. Send it to some Raider fans because we are down to the 49ers and June is starting to wrap up quick. I'm not losing to the 49ers report, and I hope that you guys feel the exact same way. Help the Raiders report. Take down our 49ers channel here at Chat Sports and our June sub battle. Number 4 on my first-time Pro Bowlers list, I'm going to throw out the name of Robert Spillane at linebacker. And Spillane is coming off a career year, entering now his 2nd year with Patrick Graham, entering another year with Antonio Pearson. The fact that the Raiders just have a lot more talent around him, especially on the defensive line, like going out and the Raiders adding Christian Wilkins, re-signing John Jenkins, re-signing Adam Butler, you're hoping that Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Koonce, Maxx Crosby takes that next step. When your defensive line is as good as what the Raiders is, it really makes the job as your middle linebacker a little bit easier, and Spillane's going to get more stats than maybe what he's got in years past, but also his job in general should be a little bit easier because he's entering another season as this guy that we're all hoping that he has another stellar season. There is a part of me that wonders, does he take a step back? But then if I'm going to project going forward, I got to continue to project going forward here for Spillane. The 58.9 coverage grade actually was one of the best coverage grades, I believe, according to PFF, from the middle linebacker position this upcoming season. But if all of these defensive players take that step forward, and if Robert Spillane takes that step forward, and if he racks up as many tackles as what he did last season, I think if he has another year identical to what he had last season, he will make the Pro Bowl. The only reason why Spillane didn't make the Pro Bowl last season is because, well, the Raiders weren't really a good football team, and it was the first time he actually had a standout season. Before we get into the top 3 of the 3 players that I believe are the most likely to make the Pro Bowl for the first time. I do got to tell you about one more time here from our awesome sponsor, Panda Subs. Panda Subs is owned and operated from a die-hard Raider fan, and everything that you see up on screen is what you get when you go to chatsports.com/mystack. Code is MyStack for 35% off. We're going to put that link for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's live video on top of the video that goes out on a later date. If you want some protein, we got it covered. Some BCAs. BCAs, think of it as like if you're going to go work out, you want to have the most out of your workout, help those muscles rebuild, help those muscles so you don't feel so, we'll say, sore the next morning. That's where I like BCAs. I'll also say this. There are some days, like if I go out for a jog or when I walk Chuck, when I come back in, I just feel dehydrated. If I have a Friday happy hour show, as soon as I get on Friday happy hour, I take BCAs. You want a fat burner to watch the fat just melt off of you? Also, when you get the stack, you're going to get a shaker. You're going to get the carrying case. You're going to get to try out some pre-workout. I love Panda Subs, and every Raider fan that I've ever met, hell, anybody that I've ever met that's trying out Panda Subs. We just put in a group order here at Chat Sports for like 14 people because I'm pretty sure I got the entire crew hooked on it as well. Chatsports.com/mystack. Check out the exact products that I'm using to help me get in the best shape I possibly can be for this upcoming season. Let's go to number 3 here. I got Tre'von Moehrig, the free safety for the Silver and Black, and I've once said that I think he's one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. I think he's about to have himself a breakout career year, and from week 16 to 18 last season, he had a PFF grade of 83.3, which is 6th best out of all safeties in the NFL. Like I said with Spillane, this Raiders defensive line is going to help out every single player in that secondary. They're going to help out all those players at linebacker as well, because when you're able to bring 4 and get pressure, it creates a lot more opportunities for this defense, which a lot of times can result in players making the Pro Bowl. He's in a contract year just like Robert Spillane, and we saw it with a few years ago with Jacobs, and it's not rocket science. Players show up more motivated, players show up a little bit in better shape, and they just are in the best shape of their life when they know it's their career year, when they have the ability to make life-changing money. And the fact that he's only 25 years old, another year with Patrick Graham, he's going to get now a full offseason with Antonio Pierce. Tre'von Moehrig, who at one point was the best defensive back in all of college football, won the Jim Thorpe Award back in 2022. I'm telling you all right now, he's going to take that next step. He was great as a rookie, a little bit of an easier concept in that Gus Bradley system, which you could see up on screen. Then in 2022, struggled a little bit more in the Patrick Graham system, had to learn a little bit more on top of that, and, well, he had Josh McDaniels as a head coach. Then, in the second season with Patrick Graham, takes a big step forward and improves his game all around, and instead of going out there and thinking he was just reacting, and when you're as good of an athlete that Tre'von Moehrig is, hell, Rob Ryan called him the best safety in the NFL. I think that's Rob just being a little bit of a hype man. But if you're like me and you do think that he's underrated, I want you to go check out a video that I dropped on the YouTube channel. It's Tre'von Moehrig's going to break out in 2024. This link is available to y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's show. If you also want to check it out, I'm going to put it for you guys right here. Tre'von Moehrig, underrated, and I think he's going to break out this upcoming season. Let's go to number 2 here, and it's Daniel Carlson. And this one just feels weird to put him on the list, not because I don't think that he can be a Pro Bowler, but what's weird is Daniel Carlson in 2022 was not a Pro Bowler, but he was All-Pro. And that is, I know you have to look it up as well. It's a fact. I've never even seen it happen before, but when you look at the Pro Bowl rosters, Carlson is not listed, but he was voted on to be an All-Pro. So he kind of already is. He kind of already isn't. 95 career games under his belt with the Raiders. He's got an 89.4% field goal make rate with Oakland, with Silver and Black. 29 years old, but he's got no million guaranteed on his contract this year or next year. So, I do think Carlson, now that he's got, Jacob Bobenmoyer for another year, he's got A.J. Cole still working with him. This special teams unit has been together for a few years now, and I think with this Raiders offense, it's going to be better than it was last season, okay? Because it's going to be better than last season, because we don't have Josh McDaniels, I just expect more opportunities for Carlson, and because he's going to be a little bit more locked in with that $0 million guaranteed on his contract, it could just result in a few more opportunities, him being a little bit better. And for that reason, Daniel Carlson, first-time Pro Bowler, but again, he was already an All-Pro in 2022. So coming up here is who's going to be number 1, because there was a lot of names that I could have potentially thrown out here for the person that I thought was the most likely to be a Pro Bowler for the first time. And after this YouTube ad break, I'm going to tell you exactly who this player is. The player that I believe is the most likely to be a first-time Pro Bowler in the National Football League is Christian Wilkins, the defensive tackle at the Raiders, signed to a monstrous 4-year, $110 million contract, and I believe he's going to play on the best defensive line that he has ever played in his entire career. Is there going to be times where he gets double-teamed? Yes. There's also going to be times where the Raiders, he's not going to be double-teamed because you have to make a choice. And are you going to double-team Mad Max or are you going to double-team Christian Wilkins? If I'm the Raiders, I line those two guys up next to each other every single time, and there's going to be mismatches. Wilkins had 9 sacks last season, and in 2024 is going to be his best season yet. I'm not sitting up here projecting that he's going to have 9 sacks again. I just think the overall number and the impact that he's going to make for this upcoming season is going to be monumental, and because he finally got a big-time payday, he's going to have a lot more eyeballs on him than he did down in Miami. He's just going to have a better opportunity to get the notoriety he deserves. The Raiders are going to be winning some football games, and Christian Wilkins is going to be a big reason why the Silver and Black have a top 5 defense, if not the best defense in the NFL. Some honorable mentions that I had. Not putting Malcolm Kuntz in this list was really tough. To be frank with you, it's actually the reason why I decided to rank them. I was going to do a list of just all the players that I thought could be potential first-time Pro Bowlers, and I was like, well, that's like 10. I could have probably came up with 12 to 13 names, but I was like, you know what? I want to rank my top 5. Not putting Malcolm in this list was tough. Tyree Wilson, I think, is a sleeper name to be a first-time Pro Bowler, and then Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs, both of those guys on the outside, opportunistic, going to create a lot of turnovers, especially with this defensive line, and then the other name I'm going to go with is Andre James. James has gotten better and better and better every single season that he's moved on. I am a little bit nervous about his fit with James Craig, but who knows? Maybe he's a better fit with James Craig. Maybe he's going to take an even further step forward with this Raiders offense because he's got a lot more talent around him this season than he's ever had in terms of being the center. Yeah, Greg Van Roten did a good job. Yes, Dylan Parham did a good job last season as well. But I do think Jackson Powers-Johnson on the left, Dylan Parham on the right is the most confident interior offensive line that the Raiders have had probably since Rodney Hudson was under center. So if you guys want to take a screenshot of this, post it on IG. You can also post it on Twitter. Just make sure that you tag me at Mitchell Renz 365. This is my Raiders' first-time Pro Bowlers list, ranked from 5 all the way down to 1. If I missed anybody, if you're like, Mitch, I can't believe you let this guy off your list. This is what this show's all about. Let me know. Interact with me down in the comments. And please tell your friends to go out, watch the Raiders Report, and subscribe.